Elizabeth. How are you this morning?
Yeah, I'm okay. How about yourself?
Not too bad, thank you. My name's Brian. I'll be your counsellor today. Thanks so much for coming in.
That's okay. Thanks for having me. Appreciate
No
it.
problem. So I just thought before we get into everything, what's some of your hobbies or what have you been up to there?
It's been, not a lot to be honest. I've just been gardening a bit, but that's about it to be honest. Maybe a bit of crocheting, but haven't been doing that recently.
Yeah, awesome. So what do you like about gardening? Is it relaxing or?
It's just take my mind off things. You know, I don't have to think about anything. I can just focus on the garden.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I do the same with I do basketball a lot, so I quite like the relaxation of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I just thought before we get into the main reason that you're obviously here, that we go through our confidentiality. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of confidentiality before?
Yeah.
So here at Windsor, we're all about trying to make sure that you as the client feel as the priority.
Yeah.
We're all about trying to make sure that you know that your information is secure as possible and your information doesn't get exposed to the outside world, and it's really just between you and me in this one room, in this isolated room. So here at Windsor, we make sure that, obviously, as I said, we want you to be as open as possible. We understand everyone's situation and how everyone seems to how some topics are really, really sensitive and how it is a lot to kind of bring up. But the only thing we do with your information is obviously I record it and I put it on your file, and just so then later on we can take that out of your file and really just have a look at your progress when you're kind of ready to kind of take the road and kind of finish your kind of journey with counselling with me or with my service or with another service. And the only other time someone else will see that is if my supervisor at some point asks me to have a look at your file, not for your sake, not to have a look at what's in your business, but also just to have a look at my service and if I've kind of provided that on the right terms and right kind of timeline of how slow or how fast you wanted to kind of get through this hurdle, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The only other time is if, I'm sure it will never happen, but if the judge or if there was some sort of lawsuit kind of thing, that if the judge did ask to see your case notes, we would have to provide it by law. But yeah, the only other time would be if we need a referral, maybe to get some medication or to get something checked out. But I would always ask for your signature first and always talk about it with you first before anything, before filing your document over. So if you're okay with that, and if you have any questions before you sign it or after you sign it, there's absolutely no worries there. I will answer it and I will try and cater for you the best I can.
Yeah.
And if I don't know the answer, I'll find my supervisor and ask that part of me. Does that all kind of make sense, or?
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you.
So yeah, it is our duty of care to make sure that you feel at ease, and if anything kind of triggers any sense of any emotion, just let me know, and I'm sure if it's the environment or if it's something we're talking about or doubts about confidentiality, just let me know and we can sort that out and talk about it, and all good, no worries, we can sort that out.
Thank you.
Because it is our duty of care here at Windsor to make sure that you feel like you're a priority again. So, okay, Elizabeth. So I just thought we'd kind of go through what's led you to come into counselling. I do understand it is a very sensitive topic, and I do applaud you for coming and trying to talk to me about this. So in your own time, whether as slow as or fast as you want, just if you can let me know what's going on for the sake of help, that would be, I would really appreciate that. But yeah, in your own time.
Yeah, so, it's just been a lot on my mind recently. I retired a few years ago, and, I'm supposed to be traveling, seeing the world with my husband, but, he left me a few years back for a younger woman, and now I'm stuck with our daughter's kids, looking after them full time, and they're high needs, so I don't get any time for myself at all. Not even little things like gardening or anything. So, I definitely don't get any time for traveling. And, I don't know, I my siblings.
Okay.
So I don't know how to go about it because I want to go live out my retirement, but I don't want to break up our family.
Elizabeth, so what you're telling me is that from what I've just heard, and please correct me if I'm wrong, the kind of points that you've kind of identified is that your husband left you. You don't want to split up your family, and you want to be there for your daughter.
Yeah.
And there has been a bit of conflict and separation between you and your siblings back when that was happening. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So those are three things that I can already identify. That's what's going on. So, what affects you? So, how's it all going with your partner, like your ex-husband? Has it all moved on, or was that a couple of years ago, or is that?
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago, but I sometimes see him around. I mean, it's a small town, and it's just really hard knowing that he abandoned us and our family for someone that's younger than him.
Okay.
No history.
And you kind of want to, you kind of feel like he's abandoned the family, and that you are the kind of last piece for it all. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And so, obviously you've taken on a big thing, and I applaud you for the kind act that you've done. I'm sure your daughter really appreciates it. Keeping the family together. Are these kids younger? Is that why it's so high needs? Are they?
Yeah, well, one's 2.
Yep.
One's 5 and one's 7. That's 3.
Right.
So there's 2 boys and a girl.
Right.
And
Okay.
they're all really high needs, so I'm constantly having to look after them. So I don't have any time for myself at all.
Yeah.
And
And does that give you like? You don't want to abandon those kids as well because it gives you like maybe a recollection of how your childhood was? Is that potential, or?
I don't want them to live what I felt
Okay.
growing up.
And could you kind of dive a little bit deeper into what that was like as with your siblings yourself, or?
Yeah, so my sister got taken away when she was younger. When we were younger, sorry. Just because, of behavioural issues. And, the family ended up splitting up my mum and dad. So, she went with my dad and I stayed with my mum. And, it was just really hard because, as I said, I have strong beliefs that families should stick together and that, we should always have each other's back, and we should always have each other's backs, but that didn't happen, and I didn't have much contact after that with my sister, and it felt really hard for me to grow up without a sister, knowing she's out there, but
Did you at all were you able to kind of get back in contact with her, or you just kind of faded away with the
it just
family splitting?
we kind of both just went our own way, and she, I'm an old woman, 16. She was my older sister, and she passed away 2 years ago. So.
Yes, I'm sorry for your loss for that one. I'm really sad to hear that. So, moving forward, have you ever heard of the Haslow's hierarchy of needs? So what that basically is it tests your all the kind of emotions that you're going through and all the needs that a human being has. And so the theory actually entails is that through our needs we gain motivation as human beings. So we all have needs, whether it's eating, whether it's making sure that we're clean, or having a stable job or what have you. So what they actually are is, I'll draw one up for you, and it's basically, so self-esteem is at the top, so that's the most important. And so what that means, actualism. And so what that is just positive thinking and all that. Self-esteem is making sure that you're happy and all the emotions are kind of clicking in your direction. Love and belonging is relationships and your friendships and your family relationships and what have you, and all the love in your life. Safety needs is like protection of your job. You've got a secure job, you've got a house, you've got a car, all that stuff. And the last one is psychological needs. So, pardon me, sorry. So it's it's all the psychological needs that help you. So just talking about that, what there's one for you. There it is for you. So just talking about that, have you found yourself lacking a lot of those levels? Like your self-esteem. You seem like you're very motivated to help a lot of other people, but you're just finding a little bit difficult to actually help yourself. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Like time for yourself to heal and everything.
Yeah.
And also to have a complete overview of it. I'm not sure, you've only told me a little bit, but I'm so glad what you've told me already. But would that also be correct in saying that you're not completely taking care of your full self because you're worried about having your family fall apart, like how your husband left?
Yeah.
Is that kind of correct? I know it sounds a bit harsh, but it's important to kind of discuss these things.
Well, yeah, I put my grandchildren, kids, before my needs because they're literal kids.
Yeah.
They can't really look after themselves, and for all they know, they don't have a mother. She comes back once or twice a year, to see them. She works away, and I really want time with for myself, so I can go travel the world and see it before I pass away.
Okay, so what I'm getting from that is that, have you ever tried to talk to your daughter about all this, or has she always been very work orientated?
Well, my daughter is single herself, so she, her partner up and left. Didn't want anything to do with the kids or her family. He just left. So she, struggles herself. She has to work all that time and spend all that time away so her kids can have a good life, But so I understand why she's doing that, and so I'm stuck in a corner because I can't say no, but at the end of the day I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I love my grandchildren, but I want to go travel before I die.
Okay, so have you ever had any techniques to kind of go through to kind of get you over like situations where you're like, okay, I'm done, or is there kind of just being let's just keep doing the same thing?
It's kind of just burn out.
Yep.
Like if I take the youngest goes to daycare twice a week, and the other two, they are year 2 and 4.
Yep.
So I take them to school usually, but I usually have the younger one. But those 2 days.
So I just thought we would go through. Do you have any? I know you talked about it's very difficult and you want to retire and all that. Have you kind of considered have any techniques, or do you use any techniques?
No, I don't really have any techniques.
Okay. So I do understand you're an older lady and that it is difficult to kind of do this kind of stuff, but maybe sometimes you could go for a walk and get away from it. I do understand these kids are very young, but is there ways you can kind of separate yourself and isolate yourself in situations? Like on the 2 days, you may be able to do some meditation stuff. Obviously our goal is to get you into it to a degree, to an area where you can fully retire and those kids will be taken care of. While you're still going through this, is there any breathing techniques you use, or anything, talking to anybody else, like your friends, or?
I talk to my friends, but they're just as busy, and I see them online, and they're, doing what I wish I could be doing.
Okay.
So, they're in different time zones, so we don't get to speak much, but I guess, before bed I'll read a little bit, take my mind off things if I get the chance to.
And I think my goal, I think moving forward now that we've kind of evaluated a little bit of your situation, is to kind of go through a time where we can find the right questions, find the right conversation times and all that to talk to your daughter, or try and get something arranged where you might get like a few weeks off at a time and then take care of them for a week or something like that. And then smooth that out to being able to just retire and have those kids in a different caring position. But yeah, so I think if we continue this, I would really, I think that's the way we could go. Obviously, this is you're driving the ship, and I will support you in any way to help you on your journey. But I'm really grateful and I applaud you heaps for kind of coming in and telling me everything, even though we have gone through confidentiality and all of that. It's very hard for a lot of people to do that. So would you be looking at having any other sessions, or?
Yeah, I think it'd be good.
Yeah, would you be thinking like once a week, or like maybe once a fortnight, or once a month, or?
I think once a fortnight.
Yeah.
Would be good.
Yeah. Okay. And just before you leave, I've just got a sheet of paper. It's got a lot of mental health institutions or other things, like suicide prevention. I obviously know that you're not like obviously suicidal, but I just want to make sure everything's available for you, and I just really want to create outline that these people that work in these mental institutions are here to help, because they understand how important mental health is.
Yeah.
So there's Lifeline, or there's all these different ones, just to make sure that you are okay, and these people are here to help you. They're non-judgmental. It's all confidentiality once more. So and our clinic's also on there, so we will arrange any emergency appointments that you may need, and it will all still be confidential. So there we go, mate. Yeah, and if you need anything else, please let me know. But yeah, I'm happy, and I'm so glad to have this journey with you. So appreciate that, mate.
Thank you.
Awesome.